You do what it do, what it do. This is the
Reed,
Pocho
what's
Live
going
Show.
on?
We in the
Hey,
Trapcast. I'm
turn it
right here with
off in
my
the
brother.
background.
This is a Bay Area interview tonight. We about to do it from the north to the east. You already know. What up, my boy?
So, why that motherfucking mic so fucking low, bro?
You good?
I can barely hear. I can barely hear.
Oh yeah, you might need headphones. You don't got the headphones on? You don't got headphones on.
You got headphones?
They might help you.
Smart. You got headphones?
Oh shit.
Let me see my bag real quick. See if I got some headphones real quick.
I know I forgot about that motherfucking shit. Goddamn YouTube be tripping sometimes. Sometimes you need it, sometimes you don't. But you can't hear me that good, huh?
I can hear you now. I can hear you a little bit better, yeah, when I move it closer and shit.
You can hear me now? You can hear me now? You can hear
Can
me
you hear me
now?
now?
I can hear you fine. So as long as you can hear me, we're good. But let me know you good.
Yeah, I'm chilling. I'm just posted. You know what I mean? Just chilling.
All right, man. Let's jump into it. Who are you? Where are you from? And what do you do?
Like I said before on the live, man, I'm Max Mason. I'm from Shoreview, California. It's a little part of San Mateo. Spent my life in and out of juvenile hall camps, group homes, all this shit. 18, got in the streets full fledged. You know what I mean? Jumped in, and by 22, I was arrested by the DEA. Beat the federal charges. Got convicted on state charges. Was out for like 10 months, and then I had signed a deal for 48 months um, for a pistol, and then some other shit got brought up, and then I was looking at RICO case and drugs and the guns and shit like that. So I was looking at life. Um, Basically fought everything, got it down to just the pistol because that's really what they had me on. Um, and then they wanted me to sign for 9 years, and I told them I'd take an open plea, let the judge decide, you know what I mean, so I could sit there and say my last word, you know what I mean, and the judge ended up giving me 2 months shot, 6 years. So I actually got out 2 years early because of the coronavirus. I was in the shoe, um, and people were coming back saying people were leaving because like asthma and shit, and I got a real lung condition, you know what I mean. So I applied for it and shit, and my judge actually granted it. They added the 2 years that I was supposed to be in prison just on the probation, and shit, I got out January 6th, 2021. About 20 days later, went down to LA and shot a video with Draco the Ruler, man.
Rest in peace. And how you feeling about that, dog? Tell us a little bit about meeting him and just your thoughts on the rap game and how dangerous it fucking is now.
I mean, anytime you got some, first and foremost, rest in peace, Draco, because that's a man that
Rest
I
in
had actual
peace.
conversations with and shit. You know what I mean? Like that's we had both beat life sentences, and we had a little mutual respect for each other. You know what I mean? So every time I go out there or something like that, you know what I mean, I tap in, and my people still fuck with some of his people and shit, and you know, dude was one of my most, one of my most influential artists growing up. You know what I mean? When I got out of prison, you know what I mean, my boys were like, "Who's gonna be the first collab?" You know what I mean? Woo. And I was like Draco the Ruler. You know what I mean? So Offset Jim fucking had got in contact with him for me because I know Jim since before he was popping and shit, and he had got in contact with him, told him that I was in town. You know what I mean? I had some money for him, and I was just like, man, let's make this shit happen. You know what I mean? So he pulled up to the studio. We did the video. Me and him sat there and talked for like 30, 45 minutes by ourselves, and you know what I mean? That was that, and basically I just, you know what I mean? So, the next couple of days I just fucking partied because, you know what I mean? I'm 20 days out of federal prison after 4 years. You know what I mean?
Hey, you fucking with the ruler. That's a
You know
fucking
what fucking
dude,
it
yo.
cost, you know what I mean? And then it's like, I haven't even recovered the cost of what I had to put in to get that feature, you know what I mean? But, just the fact that, you know what I mean, I do have like a
Hey,
recorded piece of history with that man, you know what I'm saying, is you know what I mean, that alone, you know what I'm
priceless,
saying, is worth more than what anybody else would say, you know what I mean? So, you know,
priceless.
for someone being one of my favorite artists, you know what I mean, and me being able to say, before this man died, I got to work with him with, that's some shit that that don't got a price on it, you know what I mean?
Hell yeah, that's facts, man. Well, hey, let's run it back a little bit, bro. So growing
What
up,
was that?
what I said, let's run it back a little bit. So growing up, what made you come off the porch? Like, not everybody jumps off the porch. What made you
What
kind of
made me
come off
come
that
off the
porch?
porch?
Yep.
Uh, okay, well, shit, you know what I mean? I'm Italian, so I got some crazy parents. You know what I mean? My parents divorced when I was about like 3 or 4 years old. And I mainly been staying with my dad. My mom was a drug addict. You know what I mean? So I mainly been staying with my dad. And my dad lived in the neighborhood, you know what I mean? And the neighborhood that we lived in was a Polynesian community, you know what I mean? So it was a lot of Crips around and shit, you know what I mean? So everybody that I met at school that like I walked back to home with, these are the people that I'm walking home with and shit, and I develop relationships with, these people and shit like that. And when I got to around middle school, I started changing. You know what I mean? I started going to juvenile hall and shit. You know what I mean? I wasn't into playing little league no more. You know what I mean? I was more into running around and fucking shit up with my homeboys. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
my pops was like, you get your shit together, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? And I was like, well, shit, I ain't fucking. You know what I mean? I ain't changing up shit. You know what I mean? Like I
Yep.
love this shit. You know what I mean? That shit just like it multiplied. You know what I mean? It started off some small, and I got hit up for like a Grand Theft Auto when fucking we got into a high speed chase and shit when I was in like eighth grade and shit like that. And fucking then ninth grade I got into another Grand Theft Auto. You know what I mean? I just, what I mean. I was up to no good. You feel me? Like, you know what I mean. Especially being the white boy in the group. You know what I mean? Like people trying to test you. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh, for
it
sure.
was like it was always like, all right, well, shit. If we're out, in my city, you feel me? Like, shout out to the West. But when I was growing up, you know what I mean. It wasn't like it was like. It wasn't like we was all brother like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like we seen each other downtown, and it was cordial until something got said. You know what I mean? So it was always like on me, especially me being like a lot taller than a lot of people. You know what I mean? It was just like I was just like fuck go. You know what I'm saying? So it was more like I had to prove myself a little bit more, so I ended up getting myself in situations and shit like that. And I actually, when I was 16, man, I could have been cool. That like my probation sent me out to my aunt's house in Morgan Hill, but my aunt is blind. And like a week into it, I just cut back to the bay. I was like fuck this. I went to my girl's house, and I called my mom. My mom was drug addict. You know what I mean? So when she answered the phone, she was like, "Hey, you fucked up. You're going back." You know what I mean? And I was like, "What the fuck you talking about?" Because my PO, he wouldn't be tripping. He'd pull up on me and check up on me, like smoke Black and Miles with me and shit. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he wasn't tripping.
It
You know what
matters
I
what
mean?
kind of PO you get, man.
Yeah,
Maybe
and
you're
and,
lucky.
and you know what I mean. Like he understood. You know what I mean. He was some old ass dude from Oakland. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Shout out him. Like he understood. You know what I mean. So it was like, I found myself getting into a lot of shit. At a young age and shit. You know what I mean. So as long as I wasn't catching cases and shit, like bro wasn't really tripping on me like that. But when I ran away from my aunt's house, it was like a court order and shit. They like put a warrant out of my arrest.
Oh shit.
And after my mom told me that, I was like at my girl's house, and I was just like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna just turn myself in real quick." You know what I mean? Like this shit, it'd probably be a curfew violation or some shit. You know what I mean? Like or some little shit. You know what I mean? I was 16 years old. I just turned
Yeah,
16
yeah.
years old, and initially they locked me up for a curfew violation, which was supposed to be 30 days, but I had gotten into a fight, and that turned into another like 45 days. And then I was supposed to have a court date then, and by that time I had gotten into another fight. And then the next court date out, my dad had like told the probation officer that I couldn't go to his house, and my mom was unstable because they couldn't even find her. You know what I mean? And my aunt, they wouldn't let my aunt take me because she was blind. You know what I mean? And it didn't work out the first time. You know what I'm saying? So. Um, I basically got sent to group home, and shit, man, fucking did the group home thing for like 2.5 months. Got into a couple fights, and they sent me back to juvenile hall. I just finished my time at juvenile hall. When I turned 18, I signed myself out. You feel me? Like at 9 o'clock in the morning, I signed myself out of juvenile hall, man, and fucking and fucking my cousin was waiting for me with this little 5.0. And you had a gallon of Hennessy and like an eighth of cherry pie. This one cherry pie was like, the top shit. You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
after that, you know what I mean? It was just fending for myself and just, doing what I do. And, you know what I mean? It just made me like think a little bit more and be a little smarter about shit and look at risk and reward a little differently. You know what I mean? Like the shit that I would get into would be a little more serious, but you know what I mean. At the same time, like the reward would be greater, and then it progressed into me going to prison. You know what I mean? Like the whole jumping off the porch and shit. I think even before I even started in the street shit or anything like that. You know what I mean? I was getting in fights in school and shit like that. You know what I mean? It's like I'm not from a neighborhood where like it's 89th Street and that shit fucking goes down for 2 miles. You know what I'm saying? Like my street is literally like it's like a little block and then end. You know what I'm saying? Like our hood is like literally like a big ass cul-de-sac. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like it's like the little projects. You know what I'm saying? Like they ain't like project buildings. You know what I mean? But it's just a whole bunch of shitty apartments. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
it's hell of them, you know what I mean? That was like the hood growing up, you know what I mean? It was like living next to it. It's in a very secluded area, you know what I mean? So, it was a little different, you know what I mean? So,
Oh yeah, my boy. And then like when were you already doing music before you got locked up, or did that shit come in when you were already locked up?
what happened? What did you say?
No, did it come in before you got locked up, or did you catch that in when you were locked up? Like when did you get into
Nah,
music?
I did the music shit like for real, like in like sixth grade. I had like this teacher, and her name was Miss Morris, bro, and she like made us like write this poem, you know what I mean? And like and we had just like um, we had just been like studying this poet called Langston Hughes, and
Yeah, I know.
they she had asked us to write a poem. You feel me? So I wrote a poem, and that like she was like, "This is so good," blah blah, and my boy Todd, he had like just moved over from East Oakland and shit, and like he was with the rapping and shit. And then, there was this kid, Chris DeGraffo, said that like was like hell into the rapping shit. He was a big ass Eminem fan and shit. And like, we used to just sit outside in middle school, so like sixth grade, in the white tee and the jabos and the feelers with the straps, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we would sit there and, and just try to like kick freestyles, you know what I mean? And it just started off like that. And like, later on, like seventh, eighth grade, we finally found someone that had like a little home studio that would let us come and record and shit. And we started putting out a couple songs, and that had like a lot of little local buzz and shit like that around the city and shit. And like everybody kind of, this is back when it was good though. You know what I mean? It's the times have changed now. You know what I'm saying? So
Would you say is there anything good that you got out of your prison experience? Is there anything good that you got out of your prison experience?
is there anything good that I got out of my prison experience? Yeah. I learned how to be alone. I think that's like a big problem with a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? I
Hell
learned
yeah.
that what I mean. At the end of the day, that um, it don't matter where you're at. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be who you are. You know what I'm saying? You gotta stand. As a man, you gotta stand there and do. Sometimes you gotta do what you don't want to do. You know what I mean? And I learned sacrifice. I learned betrayal. You know what I'm saying? I learned a lot of things in there. The things that I took from there, though, you know what I mean, were things that I learned about trust, things that I learned about you know the reality of life. You know what I'm saying? Like you got people sitting in there because their own brother, put them there. You know what I'm saying? Is it's things that you wouldn't even think were even fathomable. You know what I mean? And these people are sitting there for 25, 30 years of their life. You know what I'm saying? Like this shit ain't a game when it comes to this shit. So what I learned is you gotta you can't you can't put your trust into anybody. You know what I'm saying? Because at any time, any moment, you know what I mean, things can get sour. You know what I mean? Things that are supposed to be secrets, things that are supposed to be taken to the grave, can come to light and shit like that. You know what I mean? So that was something that I learned in prison. That was something that I took from that. You know what I mean? Because as a kid, I think I was so hungry to be this person that I thought I wanted to be, that I would trust these people. I would trust all these people. I would trust everybody. You know what I mean? I would trust them to be as good as a person as I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm always looking to put somebody in a chance to win. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like I'm expecting these expectations of these people and things like that. You know what I mean? And prison really taught me that can't expect that, because all them favors that you did for them people, you know what I mean? When I'm sitting there for 4 years, you know what I mean? And I didn't see a friendly face in 4 years, you know what I mean? My own family didn't even come to see me, you know what I mean? So,
Mm.
one person did come to see me, and that was it. So it was like, it put it into perspective, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
you can love a person as much as you can, but trust is trust, and um, you know, you have to choose who to give it to wisely. You know what I mean? And if you keep that to a minimum, and you go with your gut feeling, you'll probably be better off in life. You know what I mean? Like, you will never be wrong if you tell yourself something. You won't be wrong. You can convince yourself anything. You might be wrong
Mhm.
to everybody else, but when it comes to you, you know what I mean? Like, if you need to make that choice for yourself, you need to make that choice for yourself. You got to be that person that you say that you are. You know what I mean? Because that's all we are at the end of the day. Is how we are, and what we do. What we do. You know that shit. I learned a lot in prison, like I said, but you know, shit that's positive that I can put out there. There are the other people that you know what I mean, that might need to hear this because they might be headed towards that path or something like that. You know what I mean? You can learn all that stuff out here. You know what I mean? It's just you're
Yeah.
forced to learn it in there. You know what I mean? And you're forced to endure situations that you don't want to be in, and do things you don't want to do. But out here, you can make that chance, and you can make that change. You make that acceptance, that you know what I mean. That you got a lot of these kids that are influenced by this music so much that they think that every single thing that comes out of somebody's mouth is true. You know what I mean? And it's like we gotta understand that this is entertainment, you know what I mean? But this entertainment affects like, all these kids and all these little youngsters and shit like that and I don't know, man, that shit.
Yeah, bro. And then how you come out and it's like you come out and you're free, right? But then like how are you staying encouraged in the pandemic? You feel me? With all the shit that's going on, it's hard, to hustle right now, but at the same time, you got to get it. So how are you staying encouraged?
How am I staying encouraged? Um,
Yep.
shit. I just, you know what I mean. I just lost my celly. My celly was from Oakland. My celly Mikey. I just lost him to an overdose and shit like that. I think encouraged is a
Rest in
daily thing.
peace.
You know what I mean? I think there's days where I'm discouraged. You know what I mean? I think there's days where encouragement doesn't exist in my body. You know what I mean? But as that all comes down to looking at the smaller picture, the bigger picture in life. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be able to separate yourself. You gotta be able to separate yourself from who you are right now to who you want to be. You know what I mean? Those pathways. You know, that's actually another thing that I did live that I learned in prison. You know what I mean? Never act on emotion. You know what I'm saying? So it's staying encouraged is something that once you are encouraged, it's something that you have to maintain. You know what I mean? It's something that you have to, um, it's something that you have to work on. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's easy to be discouraged. Everywhere you look can discourage you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can see rappers that you think that don't deserve what you have. You know what I mean? As and getting flowers that you don't think they should get flowers. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you can't do this music shit to get pats on the back. You feel me? You
Yep.
just got to do this music shit to just put your shit out there. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? This. If you ain't trying to like do some gimmick shit or some copycat shit, you know what I mean? You really trying to rap and you trying to like tell a story or something like that, or spit some game or some shit to some people and shit. You just gotta do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, that staying encouraged shit like I said, it comes and goes, but you know at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? You gotta look at people like look at 2 Chainz. That man in his 40s sitting here making music. You know what I mean? It's like I used to think to myself in prison. I used to think to myself, man, I'm gonna be like 29 years old, going on 30 when I get out. You know what I mean? Can I have it? Because I was buzzing right before I went down. You know what I mean? The video that I have that I did right before I went down. You know what I mean? Had 50,000 views. You know what I mean? It was popping off. You know what I mean? And that's no marketing and no promo. That's no nothing. That's natural. Just post it, bam, and the shit went off. You know what I mean? And then the one I did the day that I actually got arrested. I actually got arrested leaving this video shoot. You know what I
Oh damn.
mean? That got 20,000. That got 20,000. 20,000 plays with no type of marketing, no nothing, just strictly word of mouth. You know what I mean? Shout out to the people that showed me love. You know what I mean, and kept me alive while I still was down. You know what I mean? I got a lot of shit on SoundCloud that it's got crazy numbers. The same thing that got 50K on YouTube got almost 200K on SoundCloud. I got 60K, 50K, shit like that on my SoundCloud. I don't use SoundCloud no more. I strictly use YouTube. You know what I mean? But I mean, I don't know, man. Fucking, I don't even know what we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
Encouragement,
That's all good. Yeah. Nah, but
encouragement.
yeah, no, but what moving? Hey, so what where are we going now, bro? What's the move now going forward? What you gonna be doing now in the next 6 months?
So going forward, man, I mean, I'm gonna say it like this. You know, I've made the investments that I need to make in life. So going forward right now is investing into my craft. You know what I mean? That takes money. You know what I mean? It ain't easy. You know what I mean? You look at like places like Thizzler. You know what I'm saying? Well, they're sitting there, they're charging money for these posts and shit like that. That they should be covering in general. You're supposed to be a reporter of what's going on in the Bay Area. You know what I mean? You're not supposed to be telling us what's going on in Stockton, Sacramento, or places like that. Like, you know, Dizzler is supposed to be about the Bay Area. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? That they're not reporting on what's really going on. You know what I mean? Or who's really making a sound or anything like that. They're only doing the people that pay them the most money
Yep.
and they make the most money off of. You know what I'm saying? You got Say Cheese. You know what I mean? That,
Hmm.
you know, you get posted on Say Cheese, you might get looked at by, you know, someone crazy famous. You know what I'm saying? And you might get discovered like that. You know what I mean? You know, Adam 22 no jumper. You know what I mean? I have some shit that he's supposed to be reviewing and shit like that, and you know, I'm hoping nothing but positivity comes out like that. I hope people don't look at me like, oh, he's trying to take advantage of a situation or something like that. No, it's just I'm just trying to start from the beginning and push as hard as I can, and you know what I mean. That's the biggest feature I got. This is like, you know, and me and him have it all set up through contract that, you know, my he gets his royalties, I get my royalties. You know what I mean, and you know, everything that goes for that video once it does drop on Adam 22. I mean, you know, it's going straight to his family. You know what I mean? Is, you know, it's starting from that and starting to do that with every single thing and doing videos for everything that's popping off. You know what I mean? I'm dropping the tape pretty soon here. It's called "Thank God for COVID" Volume One, and
Oh
it's
shit.
it's got hits on it, man. It's, you know what I mean. It's got hits on it, man. It's got music. It's gonna be a nonstop. You know what I mean. You're gonna be able to listen to that whole thing and not have to skip nothing. You know what I mean. Like it 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 really has some of my best work put out. I'm sitting on like 60 songs, so I really haven't dropped anything because I really haven't really been feeling my songs. But like, you know, lately I've been kind of in a mode, and you know, the things that I've been dropping and shit like that. Especially I've been getting more on the creative side too with the engineers and stuff. I've been making samples and stuff like that, and doing things like that, and trying to separate my music from everything else that's going on in my area right now to kind of get a wider outreach and start putting money into that, because it costs money to put on Sage Cheese and No Jumper and Dizzler and every other little Detroit rap news. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that's how you make something blow up. You know what I mean? Is
Yeah.
I listen to when these people at these labels talk and shit like that, and you know, marketing side is where it's at. You know what I mean? Pay TikTokers to dance to it, and do that, and you know, start putting my money into shit like that, because that's where
It's a
that's
new
where
world.
everything is going. You know, so that's the next move for me. You know.
Hell yeah, man. Hey, you got any shout outs? Anybody you fucking with? Anybody you fuck with? Your team? Anybody, you know what I mean? Any shout
Shit. You know,
outs?
I mean, shit for shout outs. You know what I mean? Obviously, you know, shout out Gold Toes, GT Distribution Empire. You know what I mean? You know, shout out to Solid Baby. You know, shout out to the whole ATM team. My little brother Smurf, my cousin Nick. You know, Nikki T. Fucking, you know, a lot of my people. Shout out to the whole neighborhood, Eastside Shoreview. You know what I mean? You know, shout out to Noms in Motion. If you don't listen to Noms in Motion, go listen to them. You know, if you ain't heard of Cutthroat Mo Click, go, you know, listen to Cutthroat Mo Click, RIP, the big homie Juice. You know what I mean? You know, it's all love for everybody that deserves it. You know what I mean? So big shout out to everybody, and you know, thank you for having me, and you know, I look forward to what's coming from me next. It's gonna be big.
Yeah, man. Well, I just appreciate it, homeboy, because I really fuck with what you're doing, and you know what I mean. I felt like when you were in the studio, you know what I mean. You were doing your thing, dog, and so I just wanted to make sure that we caught a vibe, and we'll catch another one, you know, as we grow and move forward. So I appreciate you, my boy.
Hell yeah.
All right,
But
man. Have a good night, bro.
I stand my man.
All right, bro.
I
Peace.